What if I told you that one simple shift in your mindset could completely redefine not just your career, but your entire life? Well, today we're going to dive into this powerful difference between being just a worker and becoming a contributor. So let's just jump right in with a fundamental question. Are you a worker or are you a contributor? And, the answer to that really reveals more than you might think about your whole approach to everything you do. So what's the real difference? I mean, on the surface, two people might be doing the exact same job, showing up at the same time. But underneath all that, their entire motivation, their whole reason for being there is completely different. It really just boils down to one simple question. Is your focus on getting or on giving? See, the worker mindset, it's all about what you receive, the paycheck, the benefits, the security. But the contributor mindset, it completely flips the script. It's all about what you can give, the value you create, the difference you can actually make. Now check this out. The job is exactly the same, but the mindset just transforms it. For the worker, it's just a pile of paperwork, right? A task you got to get through. But for the contributor, it's about helping people. It's a purpose to fulfill. And that shift from task to purpose, well, that's where true job satisfaction is really born. So this difference in mindset, it naturally leads to an even bigger question. How do we even define success in the first place? For the worker, success is usually measured by things you can see, trophies, money, a promotion. It's all external validation. But for the contributor, while those things are definitely nice, they are not the main goal. The real reward is internal. That feeling of personal fulfillment, the growth in your self-esteem, and the confidence that comes from building real skills. It's about building an identity based on what you know you can do, not just what others say about you. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's the difference between chasing the fruit of success, like winning the race, and building the engine of success. That engine, that's your personal capability, your confidence, your willpower, your skills. The fruit might disappear, but the engine you've built, that's going to power you to win again and again, especially when times get tough. That is what sustainable success is all about. Let's look at two totally different life stories here. Karan, he focused entirely on those external rewards. And yeah, he got the money, he got the houses, but he admits he ended up feeling lonely. Sai, on the other hand, balanced his career with his inner values. He didn't just chase wealth, he built a full life. The difference wasn't really in their bank accounts, it was in their definition of what success even means. Look, life isn't always about success. What happens when things go wrong? How you respond to challenges? Well, that reveals everything about your mindset. When you're faced with a locked door, the victim just gives up. They blame the lock, they blame the door, they blame anyone but themselves. But the creator asks a completely different question. How can I build a key? The victim feels powerless. The creator feels empowered to shape their own destiny. Okay, here is a perfect example from our source material. There's a student, Sakya Singha Mahapatra, who absolutely loved robotics, but his college barely even taught it. Now that's a huge roadblock. The victim mindset says, well, that's not fair, I guess I can't do anything. But what does the creator do? Instead of just waiting for the perfect circumstances to fall in his lap, he went out and created his own path. He took initiative, he sought out knowledge, he applied it, and he built his capabilities step by step. He didn't just find an opportunity, he literally created one, and eventually became a leader in his field. Now that is a true creator response. Okay, enough with the theory. How does this whole contributor mindset actually apply to your career? Let's look at some real, practical, day-to-day situations. Seriously, just think about it for a second. The last time you were looking for a job, what kinds of questions did you ask? Because those questions say a whole lot about your mindset. You can see the clear divide right there, can't you? The worker asks about comfort and compensation. What does the job give me? But the contributor, they ask about the work itself, the challenges, the impact. What can I give to the job? The focus is all about purpose, not just the perks. So what happens when some unexpected opportunity pops up? Imagine your company needs someone for a new office, and you'd have to do a little bit of everything, way outside your normal job description. The worker sees their job as this rigid box. Anything outside of it is not my problem. But the contributor sees that exact same situation as an opportunity, a chance to learn, to grow, and to expand their skills. they're not just doing extra work, they're actively expanding at the contribution they can make in their role. They aren't limited by a job title, they're driven by the opportunity to contribute. And this quote from Walt Disney, man, it just perfectly captures the whole essence of a contributive career. For him, money wasn't the goal, it was a tool. The real thrill, the real purpose came from building and creating and doing things. The rewards were simply a byproduct of that massive contribution. So, after all this, why does shifting to a contributor mindset really truly matter? Let's just distill it down to the absolute key takeaways. At the end of the day, a contributor mindset is really a philosophy for a more fulfilling life. It's about shifting from getting to giving. It's about defining success on your own terms by building that inner engine. And it's about seeing challenges as opportunities. This whole approach builds the confidence and the resilience you need for a career that's not just successful, but is deeply, truly meaningful. So as we end here, I'm going to leave you with one final question. It's not about what job you'll have or how much money you'll make. It's much simpler, and honestly, much more important than that. What contribution will you choose to make?